Hello.
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 So this is just another Retrocast, where we're going to be talking about Comic Cons this week, specifically about the Isle of Wight one, which we've had this past weekend. If you're into comics, movies, TV, pop culture, you might enjoy our other podcast as well. It's called The Snooze Button, and it's released on
Tuesdays.
Is there anything else they need to know about it?
Not really.
Just
Just
listen to it.
just a lot of babble. I mean, if you want something to pass the time.
So let's bloody crack on and do this one then, shall we?
Yeah.
Way.
Go on then, theme music. Bang. Comic Con's the best. Yeah, rockin' Comic Con.
Our new neighbours are going to love us. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Just Another Retrocast, episode number 18. This one's old enough for a beer now as well.
Oh.
With Mr. Ross Murphy,
Hello.
Mr. Adam Gattrell,
What?
Mr. Paul Brown.
Oh, hi, Mark.
That's a reference to our previous podcast. And me, Chris Quinton. Hello. So this week on Just Another Retrocast, we've got a bit of a different topic, because we had an Isle of Wight Comic Con this week, and it's
The
the very first one that we've ever had here. So we thought we'd take a look at that, give it a bit of a review, and at the same time, you guys that have Comic Cons that are well established and everything, you might like to hear how they kind of start out. So San Diego Comic Con, I imagine, was something like this back in when did that start? I've not even got an idea.
knows.
I think it was late 70s.
We can,
Yeah,
we
at
can look
least.
it up while we talk. That's,
Yeah. Late 70s.
Let's do that. So, fucking wrecking the joint. Sorry. So, Paul, you were a stall holder
I
at
was
the
vendor.
event. So, how did you think the weekend went?
Yeah, mostly goods, mostly highs. Not that sort of highs. Just, it went smoothly.
Just legal ones.
Full on legal.
Plastic crack
Yeah,
highs.
plastic crack. Well, I say tons of it. Do you know, I was probably the only person dealing with mostly retro or retro-inspired action figures and media stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, it was pretty good. It was rather small, as you can imagine. It was a small one. It was a starter. It was the Isle of Wight. It's going to be fairly small. It was, good vibe. Fairly well put together. There was a few things that were cancelled last minute. Whether that's...
Apparently that's the norm.
Yeah, this is the thing. I heard that being bandied around quite a lot. This is the norm.
It is
but
very normal, yeah.
But I'm hearing it
I think
from...
you're almost supposed to overbook, aren't you?
You are, but then there's certain things where... I'm a first-time vendor, so I'm quite green in this sort of respect, but there's a lot of people there who'd been trading up and down the country for years, and they said, it's a norm for people to drop out, but not to this extent, and there's a lot of changes that maybe weren't quite the norm. So I think they've maybe run into a few complications.
What are you thinking about specifically? What was cancelled? What changed?
There was quite a few guests dropped out, which can be the norm, but at such a late stage, it's quite unusual.
Do you think people thought, fuck, it's the Isle of Wight?
Yeah,
They've got
probably.
to Southampton.
They've all got six fingers, they're going to eat us.
Look to the ferry prices, perhaps.
Probably.
Or they went to the Isle of Man.
No, they may have gone to that. Yeah,
Could have done that.
Yeah.
Because that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I had a customer email me the other day, unrelated, but customer emailed me the other day. I emailed him to say, hey, I sent your package away yesterday, and it arrived the next morning before I'd sent the email, and he said, you Manx people are too slow. Fucking Jesus, that's definitely the Isle of Man. We are not Manx on the Isle of Wight.
Paul's a man.
I'm a Manc on the Isle of Wight, yeah. But, it was quite good. I think there's definitely room for it to expand, I think.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about like the way it was laid out, what was actually physically there.
Because you three all went, didn't you?
Yeah.
I wasn't able to go, so explain to me.
Would you have gone?
I know the area it's in.
Adam was in Chinwester.
Yeah, but I don't really know what the.
Would you have
how
liked
they
to have
kinda
gone,
did it.
Adam?
I don't know. There's a lot of Power Rangers.
There were 3.
In the end, there was only 3.
Oh, were there supposed to be more?
Yeah.
How many more were there supposed to be?
There's supposed to be about 8, weren't there, originally?
I'm not sure. I mean,
I might be wrong.
Bumblebee and Barricade were meant to be there, and they weren't even announced as cancelled. But there was nothing. There was no show.
Bumblebee and Barricade.
Yeah,
people
the vehicles.
Oh right, I see.
Yeah.
They're only cars, though, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people like the photo opportunities, and it gets a buzz. Especially if I'm dealing with mostly
It's just a
Transformers.
Camaro,
I think
mate.
it would
They're
have been
everywhere
nice.
in America.
And they had Buzz not Buzz Lightyear. What's the car from Cars?
Oh yeah, they had that there.
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen.
I know that the Isle of Wight Stormtrooper garrison is it the 501st. They had their
Vader's Fist.
they had their setup. What?
No, it's the 501st, the Vader's Fist.
Oh right.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they had their setup with
Kinky.
their the speeder car and like
Yeah, that was quite a good setup.
all
Hats
their
off to
sort
them
of,
there.
Yeah, all their is it cosplay if you're in the garrison? I don't know anymore.
It's
I've seen lots of
cosplay,
photos.
mate.
It is
of-
cosplay. I don't think they're real stormtroopers.
Well,
Not
no,
when
in a
some of them are
sense-
bright fluorescent pink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but do they take it a lot more seriously than
I think
others?
that's
I don't
because
know what
their other halves
situation
have gotten
is.
involved. They're called the Vectis Remnant Squad
That's it. Yeah.
as well. So, but yeah, their other halves, being all guys originally, so their partners have gotten involved and stuff. So they've made them pink stormtrooper outfits, and one covered in like
Glitter.
Do you see the Adidas
sequins.
one?
It was
Oh,
sequins.
is it sequins?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Do you see the 80s Adidas guy?
No.
Stormtrooper, black and white stripes, with the Adidas logo, carrying a ghetto blaster, playing hip hop.
Oh, no,
Wicked.
that's brilliant.
Yeah, it was really good.
That sounds cool.
It was really good.
But it was nice to like the photos I've seen online of that. It's nice to see that even though certain things did get cancelled for photo opportunities, those guys were still
They
there
were there.
in full force, like proper outfits going
Yeah,
around.
they're full on. They do this like a lot of times a year,
Yeah,
and they keep. I was chatting to the guy
They
that
raise a
runs
lot of
them.
money for charity.
I was chatting to the guy that runs them, Ross. Hello, Ross, if you're listening. And he was basically telling me where. I asked him, "Have you got a lockup? Have you got like some sort of a big aircraft hangar or something where you keep all this and make it all?" And he's like, "Nope.
in the garden.
That land speeder there, I keep that on my mum's driveway. So I take it he's got some sort of like a pop-up garage thing."
I've seen it when I've waited for a bus sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And the pod racer, he keeps in his shed. And apparently a load of the uniforms and things that are on mannequins are just in his front room.
Brilliant.
Which is quite cool. So, yeah, good on you guys. That's
Well, it was people like that, and do you know what? I think it was the people that came along to it. The general vibe was as good as any other Comic Con I've been to on the mainland, the large ones. Conventions that were more sort of comparable to the ones that you'd see in America. Obviously, still not quite the scale, because I know in America
Yeah, but
just...
you fell out with Transformers, didn't you?
How do you mean?
You just said it all went a bit weird.
Oh, that was the Transformers, their particular special convention, their own little cliquey one. It's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. There was a lot of background noise going on. I think they've managed to settle things down there at the moment, and I'm hearing good things about it.
You do get like a weird. I've been to a few conventions for different things around the country.
Oh,
and in
don't
other
get me wrong. There's a lot of
countries.
weird people that turn up to conventions. I mean,
Quite
yeah.
aggressive. I need to get to the front of this queue to get whatever free thing it is, or
Yeah.
to buy that item, and I don't care if I hurt some small child to get there.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of that at this, then.
No,
luckily.
do you know what, everyone? It was a really good atmosphere. I don't know how you guys find it on the Sunday. On the Sunday, it was a different vibe. There was
Hang on, wait. Before we go
Yeah.
down that path, right?
Yeah.
The original point of this conversation was how it was set out and what was there.
the set out and the layout. I think there could have been a little bit more variety, but it was pretty good.
Okay, so
So
There was
did they
a
set
little
it-
something there for everybody.
In
Did they
reality-
set it out in the standard, like, comic artists and guests in one place? And
Ish
then-
and no, because right, this was for me the biggest cock up. When I signed up as a vendor, there was absolutely no mention of it being out in a marquee. And from what I heard from other vendors, was that their original idea was to have it all inside the building.
Right.
Except the building's not big enough.
The building's not big enough, and this wasn't looked into, and I don't think there was much forward thinking on that side of things. Or I think the event became bigger than what they were first imagining,
Right, okay.
and which is great.
yeah. But it's that first
Any
year
smaller
teething.
would have, any smaller would have been far too small.
just imagine that nobody. Just imagine you're a listener listening to this podcast and you've never been to a Comic-Con before. How is it usually set out, Adam?
So normally most conventions I've been to, you'll have your section which is the celebrities and people that you've come to see. You'll normally have a section where you can go and meet them at a stall. They'll be selling whatever it is that they've been involved with and do signatures of whatever you've brought with you. Then you'll have the vendors, so you have all the stuff for sale connected to whatever it is. And then you'll have normally like maybe 1 or 2 rooms where certain people are doing talks. Maybe they're showing short films, playing snippets, chatting to people, giving you a Q&A chance to chat with actors, musicians, people that are involved in whatever it is the convention's based around. Obviously, with Comic-Cons, it's kind of become comic books, movies, TV, pop culture, so it's kind of a bit of everything now.
Sure.
So yeah, most of the time when I've been to conventions, they clearly set it out so you've got two rooms or 3 rooms where there's stuff going on with talks and films and that. You'll have the vendors right outside that area, and then near the vendors, normally either in the same room or in a separate room, they tend to put all the people selling stuff. So you kind of come through the
Do you
area.
mean like when you say the people selling? You just said vendors and then people selling stuff.
Sorry, the artists and stuff. Right. So you will normally walk into a main room, which is all the vendors. You can see what there is to buy, and there'll be posters up around telling you what time certain people are doing signings, what time people are doing talks.
Right.
And then you'll have the second room where you can go and do that, but then you've got your main room to walk around, buy all your pop culture, comic book, movie, TV related bits and bobs, and then go and sit about, and if it's a good venue they'll have a bar.
Cool. Right. They did have a bar, which is good.
Cool.
And they had sort of so you go in the main entrance and then you could take a right and that would take you into the area where your artists and stuff were. That was quite near the bar. So it was like an L-shaped room, but it had all the actors and the comic book artists in one L-shaped room. There weren't that many of them. Okay. It's the Isle of Wight's first Comic-Con, that's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be small.
There were probably about, 15, 20 actors, something like that there.
That's not bad.
Or people that were involved in games or things like that. And maybe, I think, 4 or 5 serious actual comic book artists.
Yeah.
We had a quick chat with one, Ross, didn't we, about...
Yeah. He, I forgot to notice who he was.
I forgot to write his name down as well, but he's the guy... He writes for McFarlane Comics, or draws for McFarlane Comics. Yeah. And he was doing... Some of the work he was doing involved Angela. So
Chris got fucking nerdy, and he looked at me, he looked at both of us and go, "Guess you read comic books, don't you?" And I'm like, he does.
Actually, because of that, we can tell how long ago that picture would have been drawn, because they don't own the rights for Angela anymore, do they?
Oh
no,
yeah, Chris,
Marvel have got it.
Chris had that conversation, didn't he? It's like, would you like to compare nerd cards with me? Power Extreme.
There's lots of that.
But we saw it to the nth degree. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so come out of the artist's room, back into your main little corridor again, and then out into, big open space with a load of vendors.
Yeah.
And that really took up the majority of the event, like the people selling stuff.
Yeah.
Absolute shed load of vendors. And then through into the main hall where they were having the talks and Q&As and stuff.
Hall H.
With the guys, with the Vectis. What were they called? The Vectis Garrison, with all their display and everything, which is quite large, to be fair. And then, that's it. So really very, very small.
It sounds like it's laid out pretty well, though.
Yeah, it sounds as if it's laid out how it should be for a Comic-Con.
Yeah, it obviously sounds like the issues for the vendors are not quite being told exactly how it was going to be for them is a bit awkward, but then it's the first year, so it may be...
They've already outgrown that venue.
Yeah.
I'd say in the categorically now, it'd be crazy if it's there next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless they're going to expand on where they hold it. Like, there's not... Here on the island, we've not got many places that are big enough to hold something like that unless you put it over a couple of different venues. But then there's the travel in between for people, you know?
So there's a high school just across the way from the venue, which would... that's actually being run as, like... What do you call it with high schools at the moment? They're run
Academies.
So it's run as a business. So I'm taking it they would welcome the opportunity to host an event like that.
I imagine they probably would.
So
I couldn't possibly say.
But But they would, right? They'd take money from.
I'm assuming
As
if
a business.
they've got a hall space, there's a lot of schools now that do that thing of renting out the hall space for events and stuff.
I imagine a school would be the perfect venue for a
And the
Comic-Con.
thing is, like, with that and where it is, like, those two places combined would fit quite a lot of stuff in. And you're still going to end up with stuff in marquees and stuff, but you get to that point where you can let people know who's going to be in what and where, you know. It'd be interesting to see what it's like next year. I definitely want to go next year and get a bit more involved, maybe interview some people if we can get press passes.
This is true. We did miss out on press passes this year. It must have been, pretty well. There's some people pretty hot off the mark to get those. We applied 14 hours, I think, after the
announcement.
Yeah, after the.
I think they'd already given them out for the first year before they even announced it. I think that was the thing. They already had their sponsors, and they gave certain ones to the sponsors and then certain ones to the actual press people, because it's the first year. They wanted to make sure that everything went,
which is understandable,
smoothly. Yeah. So, yeah. Who were the guests then that were there in the end? Did you guys get a chance to see anyone?
Yeah, we did. To be honest, I'll be frank with you right now. We went up on Sunday. We got there about 11, and we stayed till 3. We would have really struggled to fill the whole day with things to do.
It's true. We spent a lot of time in the hall with the vendors, chatting to Paul, going through his stock and stuff.
Guys. Yeah, there's a couple. Just off. Well, it's not off topic, but just slight tangent. I bought Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation, absolutely mint for a tenner.
Bargain.
With the Silent Hill demo in it and all 3 instruction books that it needs for it to be complete.
Brilliant.
So I was well chuffed about that. Thank you, Adam Houghton, for making me have to spend £10 on that. I've probably given Paul £10 for it, and probably given him more for that, actually.
Was there a nice mix of vendors of stuff there?
Yeah. There was your obligatory massive Funko. It's not Funko Pop, is it? What they called?
Funko Pops.
Funko Pops and vinyl pops. Yeah.
Was
they were down really
with
well.
The sponsor, because of the comics.
That was one of their
local
comic
Heroes
shops.
were there, but there was
Heroes.
someone else were there with them as well.
Because our local comic shop, Cheap Thrills, has
Just
become Heroes, and they were one of the sponsors. So
They
have obviously had a massive stall there, and it'd be interesting to have a chat with those guys when I see them next time I went for them.
We've all made it perfectly clear how we feel about Funko Pops on this podcast, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
Guess what Chris did?
What did you do?
He went and bought one.
I bought a Funko Pop.
What one? If it's BB-8 or one of the round droids, that's fine because they just look like a round droid. If it's R2-D2 or a person, you're an idiot.
It's a person.
It's Alex Delage.
Who?
From Clockwork Orange.
Thank you very much, Adam. That's why it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't matter.
Have you taken it out of the box and thrown the box away?
No.
Do that immediately.
I've taken it out of the box and kept the box aside for a minute.
That's it. That's it.
It's not it.
We are now witnessing the reason Chris and Jilly split up.
No, you're not. Bollocks.
Yeah.
He's going to build an extension in the house. He's going to build walls,
he's going to go down in the basement. He's going to throw the hookers out.
Yeah,
he's just fill it with Funko Pops,
and it's just Funko Pops. And Julie's like,
wall
"Can we
to
go
wall.
on holiday this year?" And he's like, "No, I bought a limited edition remaster of the." I don't know, something rubbish and stupid and irrelevant. I don't know.
It does scare me how popular
they
are. It does scare me how popular they are, the Funko Pops.
You know what? It's not about it being a Funko Pop. It's about it being the only figure version of Alex from A Clockwork Orange I've ever seen. That character's it just holds something special in my heart. Really
Fair
does.
enough.
So I dress up as him almost every Halloween, and that doesn't ever get tired. The costume gets better every year, but it's just yeah. I like A Clockwork Orange quite a lot. Now that's a film. Now that's a film that they should remake.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'm happy with the original.
Or at least remake is a wrong word. Reimagine closer to the book.
Yeah.
Would be better.
Yeah, see, when I read the book, in my mind, it was like a sort of more in the future.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit not quite Blade Runner-y, but that sort of bleak dystopian future. Just do a 90-minute special of Black Mirror that's just a Clockwork Orange, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them in the full black outfits and stuff, like with the weird like faces and spiders and stuff on their cod pieces and stuff. But,
so,
yeah.
talking of costumes, what was the cosplay like from locals and
Really
stuff?
good. You know, everyone put in a really good effort. I was really
There
impressed.
was a fair amount of it.
Yeah.
Tell you what, there was lots of Japanese cosplay.
There was lots.
There was lots of weeaboos there, and there was lots of Overwatch outfits.
Yeah, that's very
True,
popular.
actually.
Big at the moment, isn't it?
That brings me on to a point where I'm quite sort of... I feel quite sorry for two sets of people. One of them being the people that were in cosplay, and the other one being the celebrities that were doing Q&As and talks and stuff. Because the hall where they were doing the presentations was fucking freezing.
The whole
really,
building. Yeah.
really cold. And because it's outside, it's a marquee.
So they were doing the talks outside. They didn't use inside for that.
It was a marquee.
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, so I don't know how the hell you would go about heating.
Was
Yeah.
the main inside hall not used for anything then?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for the guests, for the signings.
Why? Well, yeah, I suppose they've got to keep
They're
them warm,
sat
haven't
down
they?
and
it's-
stuff, aren't they?
They probably
not doing
thought
too
the
much.
corridor was going to be big enough to fit them all the way down the side of the corridors.
It was an oversight, I think.
So yeah,
okay,
so
yeah.
the people that were doing the presentations and stuff, I gotta wonder, like, were you getting people avoiding going down there because it was so cold? And the cosplay people, some of the like guys and stuff were just not wearing a lot. I didn't go wearing a lot. I was just wearing a t-shirt and a kind of a denim jacket type thing.
Yeah.
But I
And a
still had a
scarf.
scarf and a hat, and I was still freezing.
There was one poor woman, she came dressed as Slimer from the original Ghostbusters.
Right.
And her outfit was, I mean, literally just a tent, but she had fans under there as well, blowing it up, so he was
Right.
wobbling. The costume's wobbling around. And I said, God, it's freezing, isn't it? She said, yeah, I've got fans under here as well, just blowing this cold air constantly around me, which is, she must have been absolutely frozen.
Wow.
Dedication, though.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It was a brilliant costume.
That's the thing with cosplayers. People do really go to the effort and just...
But it wasn't just that, though. You'd see kids as well turn up, and it was the little nerdy kids who, they scream for this sort of event, and there's nothing else around for them. And I was walking up on the Sunday, and there was these kids in cosplay, and they were just all nervous, and, oh, where is it? Oh, it could be up here somewhere. I just turned around to her, you're after the Comic-Con then, lads? And, yeah, please.
And they
mister,
immediately
yeah.
called the police.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
You look like Ian Huntley.
And they put me in, and that was it. I couldn't even trade
Same
that
accent
day.
and everything.
Yeah.
To be honest, I had my manga club group in at work today, and 3 of the girls were they were really excited when they came in. They're like, "Oh, did you go?" And I was like, "No, went on the island." And they were like, "Oh, it was really good. We all went in cosplay, and we had a great time. We bought some stuff from different things, and we met so and so and so and so." And
everyone got
saw stuff
really,
and,
they really got into the spirit of it. Everyone made an effort, and I think that's what made the event. There was a few hiccups with the layout and things like that, and certain guests being cancelled and information not being put across as well as it could have been. But it was the first one. It was a struggle for everyone. I think everyone did really well. You're going to get that, and I think they coped with it very well. But I think that what really made it was the people that turned out to really support the event, and it shows that, because we've been the first one and being the island, it's a small place, isn't it? Let's face it, and you don't expect there to be such a big outcry or a following for such an event. But
for a population of 172,000 people,
but
it's quite impressive.
The event showed that there was definitely a market for it. People were behind it, supporting it, and it was incredible to see. It was very good.
So what were the best outfits you guys saw, or the funniest? Because I've seen a couple on Facebook that people have put photos.
A couple of guys as Ghostbusters.
They were
Pretty
really good,
cool
weren't they?
Costumes, yeah.
They'd really gone all out.
They
Really
were part of
spent some money on their proton packs. And
They were part of
stuff.
a club. They had a Surrey Ghostbusters patch on their outfits.
Did they?
The SSGB then, probably.
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, South Surrey Ghostbusters, yeah.
Oh, was it them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully, if I've got the right ones. Because there's different groups around the country, but yeah, they've all got their own little logo and shit.
Are you the People's Front of Judea? Fuck off. We're the Judeans People Front.
Oh, yeah, they were really good. The Jedis, it goes without saying. There was some brilliant... Did you see the Disco Jedi? Not
What?
Jedi, sorry, the Disco Stormtrooper.
Oh, right, yeah.
Did you see that one?
Is that
It
another
was
one?
basically a
Not
glitter ball.
The sequined one.
Yeah, it was just covered. It was
so
amazing, yeah.
Female stormtrooper.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. My missus got chatted up by one of them, actually, and she said... The weird thing is, though, they all look the fucking same. I don't know what the guy looks like underneath.
There you go.
It could have been a right munter.
A little bit tall for a stormtrooper.
Possibly.
Oh, dad joke. We made it all the way through to like 30 minutes without a dad joke.
So what guests did you guys
Oh yeah,
see?
so we only hung around for 2 Q&As. We caught the end of the Power Rangers ones. They were pretty cool.
They seemed to be enjoying themselves, didn't
Yeah, they had a good time. And then we watched 2 voice actors from video games. A lady who played Evie in the latest...
Uncharted?
Nah, Assassin's Creed.
What's her name?
Okay, yeah.
Tanya something, was it?
Don't know, I forgot. And this other guy who is going to be in Far Cry 5. And it was funny because everybody just kept asking him questions about video games instead of performance capture.
Yeah,
voice work.
How did you get into it? I was thinking, why is nobody asking that question? But instead it was like, well, what's your favourite gun in this video game?
One kid, he was...
Oh, God, this child
This
was
one
amazing.
kid, he was incredible. He was brilliant. I wanted to stand up and give him a round of applause. He was just hilarious. Like, me and Chris laughed out loud. He was brilliant because he asked the guy about Call of Duty, and the guy just threw the question back to him. He's like, "What's your favourite Call of Duty?" And this kid just went round, and he literally spoke for about 4 minutes.
Shit.
He was like, "Well, as you all know, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare did move the series forward, but then they introduced double jump in the next one, and then Black Ops 2 was quite good, but now I think I'm better at it." And he was fantastic. I just wanted to buy him a pint. He was about 10, so I couldn't buy him a pint, but he just was brilliant.
The guy on the panel then made the mistake of asking him another question. He just said to him, "Okay, tell me, what's your handle?" And he then he misunderstood the question and went off on a tangent about what his favourite guns were.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Actual
in
gun
whatever,
handle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he was
I think
really
that's
good.
the thing. You got to be on the ball to do the panels and to do the Q&As with people. You can't just be someone that's. You need to learn how to deal with Comic-Con audiences. Do you know what I mean? You've got to learn very quickly. Like with the kids, you've got to be a certain way. With some of the really nerdy adults, you've got to get in there quick and just give them an answer and not say the wrong thing. I've watched people get really fucking angry at the answers they've got out of celebrities at these things. It's just like, Jesus, these guys are here to like...
There were some passionately nerdy people.
Yeah.
Like, this question kept coming up, and we caught the end, like Ross just said, we caught the end of the Power Rangers panel, and then we saw these guys doing the video games one, and then we saw the guy from Clerks, who we'll get to in a minute, but every single one, the what's better, DC or Marvel, came up, and it's like,
boring.
Jesus Christ. But yeah,
It's Marvel less Batman.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that.
So I like Batman, but then I think there's more characters in Marvel I prefer.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. Batman's the best bit about DC. If he wasn't in DC, I probably wouldn't read the rest of it.
yeah, fair enough. Anyway, the girl's name from the comic book panel
Green
was
Lantern.
Victoria Aitken, and she used to be in Hollyoaks a long time ago.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah,
When she mentioned she was in Hollyoaks, I was like, I'd actually like to know more about that. I think you'd have some funny stories to talk about on the set of Hollyoaks.
Yeah.
Like, especially if she was in the more recent Hollyoaks, where they kind of, you can tell that they're just having fun with that show now. The fact they've met ghosts and
really,
yeah, and an angel came down and spoke to one of them, and it's just become mental.
I was watching a thing on morning television today about one of the characters who she was on their little Q&A panel. This is completely on a tangent, but yeah. So this character has had an affair with their brother, married their first husband. Killed their first husband, set fire to their house and killed one of their children.
So is this Jeremy Kyle or is this...
No,
Hollyoaks.
and there's just random number of crimes that this character has committed during their life in Hollyoaks. Yeah.
Well, it's like anywhere
it.
from a soap opera, a British soap opera. You just wouldn't live there if it was a real place. You'd just be
No.
like, nah.
You'd move out of
I've heard stories in the papers about this place. It sounds too dodgy.
the place in Stranger Things. What's that called? Hawkins. You'd
Yeah.
move out, wouldn't you? You'd go.
So Brian O'Hanlon,
Yeah.
did you stay for the whole of that?
He
or-
was very entertaining, yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I realised when they showed a clip of Clerks that actually I've never seen Clerks.
What?
I've never seen it.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
So
I thought you would have.
Every View Askew movie is fantastic.
Maybe it's the sequel I've seen, but
Clerks
I've said
2,
this
yeah.
before on a podcast
So
that
good.
I was drunk. I'm sure I was pissed or something. So I remember like the characters, Jay and Silent Bob, and I remember this guy's face.
Dante, yeah.
But I don't remember anything about the film, and I don't think it was in black and white. Is the second one colour?
Second one's colour, the
Right.
first one's black and white, yeah.
So there you go. There you
I
go.
asked
So
him
I've
his
not
first
seen Clerks.
question.
You asked him his first question?
Yeah, I asked him what happened, what scuppered Clerks 3,
What did he say?
and he gave us a very frank and forthright answer.
What was
Yeah,
that?
he basically was like, Clerks 2 didn't make enough money that the Weinstein company were going to use them as were going to produce it.
Yeah.
So they went to a different producer, and the money they were offering was just not what
It was insulting, is
it
what
was
he said. wasn't
insulting. It was what it said. And the guy who plays Randall, can't remember his name, Justin or something.
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't really act. It's not his thing.
No, because Kevin Smith has said that they
So it
managed to
always has to
find
make
the...
him.
Kevin Smith said, we've managed to find the money... A while ago, he said, we've managed to find the money and everyone except him is on board, and if he's not up for doing it, we're not doing it. That's basically Kevin Smith's answer. He just went... He doesn't have to do it. He goes, we can do other things. He goes, I've always got projects, but I won't do it unless we've got the two main characters, which is the two clerks. And if he's not feeling comfortable doing it, I'm not going to force him, so we're not going to do it.
But he hates the fact that he's read the script.
Yeah.
And he loves it, and it's really good. And
yeah. Because
and
he's trying to get it done
he's
as
like-
a TV show now, isn't
He
he?
made a joke. He's like, I can't tell you about it. I've signed a non-disclosure agreement for if I violate it, I'll be in debt £3 million. So if somebody wants to give me £4 million, I'll tell you all about it. And then the good thing is that he said most of the script has made it into Jay and Silent Bob too,
Cool.
because that's what they're going to do
Yeah,
instead.
yeah.
And he plays not recurring characters. He plays like he's in a lot of Kevin Smith's films as just and the joke is that they're all cousins of Dante.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in it and stuff.
Rad.
He's got
But
3
he was
roles,
really
I think
good.
he said, didn't he? He's got 2 other roles as well as Dante.
Yeah, and he spoke about Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes and filmmaking. It was really interesting. Like I could have stayed for an hour. He could have done an hour. Couldn't he?
Yeah, quite easily. It did zip
Yeah.
past, very, very quickly.
Yeah, and then he was like, "I'll tell Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes that the Isle of Wight's really nice."
Cool.
So I'd die if they came to the Isle of Wight.
If they
Fucking
came,
love
if they
it.
came to do Jay and Silent Bob Get Old and a Fat Man on Batman Live at one of our local places here, that would be amazing.
Come and do it here if you want, guys.
Yeah, join us.
You're probably listening.
Mix the Smodcasts network with the SNEW network for one evening. That would be
But
interesting.
He did say they're going to try. They're sort of thinking about because Kevin Smith's really into Rick and Morty at the moment, so he's flirting with like doing Jay and Silent Bob or Clerks as a TV animation.
That would
Well, they did
that
have
would
Clerks
work.
before, and he's
Yeah.
been trying to get that again because the company that did it originally kind of canned it.
Yeah, because he
And
doesn't.
he said that he wants to do it, and the Jay and Silent Bob cartoon film went really well. That worked really well for him. So
Well, if the original character who said he's not comfortable doing
Yeah.
Clerks,
yeah, do
you
it
can get a
animated.
voice actor and
Yeah, he might be more comfortable just doing the voice.
doing the voice.
work.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
So, Ross, would you agree in me stating that Q&A made the day worth the money?
Yeah,
Yeah. Before that, I was thinking, wow, this is a bit small. There's
Well,
not a
how
lot
much?
going
How
on.
much did you guys pay for just one day?
I've not paid Ross for the ticket yet, so I don't know.
£14.
£14. Yeah, £14 to see someone like him do an awesome Q&A and then wander around some nerd stuff and meet some people and see some cool costumes ain't too bad.
I'm glad that we caught that Q&A. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And
It would be interesting to see if they next year, if they do expand, how much they rise the ticket price. If they keep it the same, and that the money they're charging vendors to have a stall there stays about the same, and they don't shaft people by just upping the price ridiculously, I think it will be a good thing. You know, if it gets to the point where they're renting out the whole local college or something and having every building filled with something, and then they put the ticket prices up, fair enough. But yeah, it's a small one, so, and a lot of the small ones around the country that I've been to have been quite reasonably priced.
Fair enough.
So hopefully they'll keep with that.
Without discussing figures, did you think it was worth your while, Paul, as a vendor?
Yeah, it was good. It was well priced. I can understand if it becomes a bigger event, the price would need to go up a little bit, but I think it would have to be a little bit. I don't think it's at the stage at the moment where they could sort of, if you go into the mainland, if you go into something like Birmingham NEC, or if you go into the London shows, you're looking at paying £100 a day to be a vendor.
Right.
but how much space do you get with that?
Exactly, and the amount of people that are coming in to see your stuff, they're coming in from all over the world.
And also how much it costs for the company who are running it to rent that space in somewhere like the NEC.
So that, and the layout as well you're paying for, and the fact there's cash machines everywhere, and do you know what I mean? It's going to be a lot more...
Baby steps, though.
Exactly, this is it. I think the amount they charged this time round was about right and should remain the same.
You had some pretty nice sort of shelving things going on behind you. Was that your...
That was my... the only thing they provided was a table.
Right.
And we were promised a bottle of water. I didn't get that. It was just a table, that's all I got.
Okay.
And it was meant to be a 6 foot by 6 foot space, but because they crammed us in so tightly together, we were sort of not fighting for the space, but we were all sort of negotiating between ourselves to try and get the best out of the space we were given.
Right.
It was sort of implied that there'd be room to move within that 6 foot by 6 foot, but it was if it makes sense, it's a very small 6 foot by 6 foot.
You could get down and do some push-ups, mate.
Yeah, I suppose.
You had room for that. Definitely.
Would you?
I couldn't sit down. Let's put it that way. There was no room for them chairs they gave me.
Sit, no.
No.
Would you? Would you definitely do it again?
I'd definitely do it again.
Did you
Overall,
make lots of money?
not lots, but I certainly
enough to make it worth the price.
Definitely enough to make it worth the price.
Do you think you do what some people do at events where you'd buy 2 spots next to each other next time and maybe get a friend in to help?
I'm interested in. Yeah, we're already excited about that happening. If it does go ahead next year and they'd like to expand, we'd like to expand, and I think everybody else involved would like to do the same. We want this to grow. We want it to do well. It's good. It's good for us. It's good for the island. It's good for the community. Everybody around.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of people who are interested in the same things, and they really want this to work. And you can see they're all getting behind it, and everybody loved it. Do you know? I expected to see the same old sort of familiar faces, the people that we know, turning up. I barely saw any of them. It was all new people I didn't have a... There was such a
they were
huge
all in
crowd.
Costumes, mate.
No, I mean, it's just the people, even though there was other people as well, and there was people buying that you just wouldn't expect, or you didn't even know about, and there was people coming from the mainland for it. Overall, it was a really good event, and I'd probably give it, 7.5 nerds out of 10.
Cool.
Definitely.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
For a first time out.
It was very
well.
So you were there all weekend. You guys were
I loved it. I really enjoyed it, yeah.
I'm personally quite glad that we went on the Sunday and not the Saturday, because apparently there was, quite about half the amount of people there on the Sunday than there were on the Saturday.
Yeah, the Saturday was heaving in. It was it was more the serious nerd on the Saturday. It was people that were desperately trying to find that item that they were missing in their collection and things like that.
Because the only thing I will say is I didn't see anything online with when anyone was doing talks before it happened, so it was difficult to know which day to buy a ticket if you were only going to be going for a day.
I only saw one notice, I think, and I think I actually went all the way back to the front door to find a notice to tell me.
Yeah, I took a photo. We went back and took a photo.
But what I mean is, like, there was nothing beforehand on the Facebook page saying... So as someone that might have gone if I had been on the island, I wouldn't have known which day was worth going for guests.
The schedule was the
talks
same.
And stuff.
I think they need someone on the team who's a dedicated...
Was it the same talks each day then?
Well, obviously... It would be different question and answers, but...
the same guests each day.
I'm glad I didn't buy a weekend ticket.
Yeah, same.
If it was my...
So it literally was the same guests each day doing the talks then? Or?
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you. This is the thing. None of that was made clear enough, and I think the guy who was running it was trying to also cover the media side of things as well. And it was just too much for anybody to really take on.
Because I know it's they're a small company that have done.
Yeah. I mean, the guy was brilliant.
They've done Comic-Cons elsewhere in the country. They've got one in Scotland and one. In
I didn't realise that. I
Wales.
thought this was his first one. I know he's been involved in a couple in America and things like that. He's been helping with the organisation of them. And he was a really nice bloke, and you could see he was working really hard to do it. But I think it was probably a little too much for one person to take on.
Personal assistant to deal with certain aspects.
I think they need a dedicated media. Well, yeah, a media guy. Somebody's going to keep those updates coming and get. I mean, I've been to other small events as well. And even the Transformers one was really good. Their webpage or their Facebook page, both would update, get yourselves down to such and such a thing. In an hour, you're going to expect this person to talk, or if you get into this room, you'll see this going on in the next hour. Don't forget, at the end of the day, we've got this. And there was constant... So even if you weren't near any advertising flyers or anything, or anything on the wall to tell you what was going on, you could check your phone, you're away. Right, brilliant, okay, this is going on.
You don't pay. It doesn't add money to your staffing costs because you don't pay people, do you? People volunteer.
Yeah.
All it costs you is a ticket.
Yeah.
So all you do is if somebody volunteers, you make them do 3 hours over the weekend.
One of our long-term listeners was at the gate greeting us, actually, wasn't he? Hi, John. How you
really?
doing?
Was that? Oh, right.
John Greenham was.
I spoke to him a couple of times. I didn't realise he listens to the show.
Yeah. Shares the show every time we post.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Well,
good guy.
Chris didn't
Cheers,
even
mate.
introduce me. We just walked on past.
I apologise. I thought you know who each other were because of the context of the
No,
relationship.
all I do is talk. I don't know who listens, mate.
I did say when we walked away, do you know who that was? And Ross did say no. And I did say, well, yeah. This is Ross, the snidey one. But yeah, I missed that opportunity. Next time.
So, yeah, it sounds like it was pretty good all round. It sounds like there's some teething issues.
Yeah, totally.
If they need a graphic designer that knows what he's doing to redesign
Steve down at the angle's pretty good, isn't he?
Redesign their logo and maybe do them a poster nearer the event next year with actually the timings of stuff that can go out on Facebook beforehand, and then obviously they can update if there's timing changes during it. And then maybe they need to get a PA
you'll win
loads
of plaudits if they listen to this podcast. That snidey little git in the corner going, well, yeah, you actually should have used me because I'm better.
They don't even let him sit in a chair.
I don't know who did their logo. It's all right. I'm just saying, if they want a graphic designer to do a better one, I'm not going to argue.
Speak to Paul.
Yeah.
I'm going to be busy selling, mate. No worries. Don't you worry. No, I think it was well run. It obviously could be run better, but these events always could be. I think communication was that was the only thing that fell to the wayside a little bit. The communication was a bit of an issue, but I think that's only because the guy running it was taking on too much. He was doing a stellar job, but obviously, I mean, there's only so much one person can do. So you could do with an assistant with that, I think, and layout. Yeah, I think the event quickly grew beyond what their initial expectation was, which is a great thing. It's a great sign for the future of it. The amount of people that turned up, I think it was 2,000 plus on the first day.
Wow.
That's not bad.
Which is really good for a small island event. I'm not sure. Other than the school, which, I mean, I'm not a fan of that venue for reasons I won't discuss here. But, I'm not sure where else you'd hold it for a larger venue. But, I mean, mind you, there are other schools on the island that are currently expanding at the moment that could be candidates for it. I mean, it's centrally in Newport as well.
A certain hotel next to a lake on the island.
Yes.
Got quite a few conference rooms and stuff.
That would be perfect.
And it's on a bus route. So, yeah.
That would be perfect.
There's quite a few places on the island really that could work for it. It's just fitting it.
I think a hotel vibe would be better than a school in idea, because a school is still... It's still a school, isn't it? And it has that sort of school vibe. You can't escape that. I didn't cover, which I'm going to do really quickly now, my highlights of the weekend.
Okay.
Number one would be selling some Transformers over the phone to one of the guests there. Apparently it was one of the guys who are coming up in the new Aliens film. He's one of the guys featuring there. I couldn't tell you who he was or what he was.
He was one of the engineers.
Probably.
No?
He was a Scouse guy. Very nice.
There were two actors there that play the engineers in the Prometheus film.
Right.
Was it one of them?
It was probably one of them. I don't know. He was a Scouse fella. He seemed very nice. I only spoke to him on the phone, and he bought some Transformer bits off me. He was very nice. The Flash series, the lady who plays... TV show.
Yeah.
The lady who plays the mother of Flash.
Yep. Yeah.
She came to the store, didn't have a clue who she was, but I think I offended her with my British wit.
Okay.
There was one point she said, "Oh, R2D2 or 8B8? Oh, I'm getting R2D2." She said, "What about 8B8? Oh, it's BB8."
BB-8.
And I went, "Yeah, well, mate." I said, "Well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?" And I think she actually thought I meant it'd be rude to leave this stall without actually buying that, and I will be extremely offended. I just meant, it'd be rude
British
to,
people.
not to get... So, yeah, I'm not sure how that went. And my favourite highlight of the week was I sold a mint-on-card Wolverine from 1991 to a chap. He was over the moon with it.
Wow.
He passed it to his kid to hold on to it while he put it in a bag, and the kid just immediately tore it straight from the card. This guy, it was like the scene from Platoon where he just drops to his knees. It was brilliant, yeah.
Oh,
so
amazing.
yeah,
I wish
highlight
I'd
of the
have
week.
been there, honestly.
My heart went out to him. So if you're listening, I very much doubt it. If anybody out there knows who he is, yeah, I feel for you. Yeah, so I did laugh, but yeah, it was out of pain. So that was my highlights.
So it sounds like for the first year, they did the guy did most of the organising himself and did fucking good.
Yeah, he's done really well. And be honest with you, the amount of times I've had to, if I had a question or anything, I get in touch with him on Facebook, and within 5-10 minutes, bang, hiya mate, this is what's going on. And he'd usually be pretty good. It's just as it got nearer to the event,
Obviously,
it was
had a lot more questions.
Yeah,
coming
and it
in.
would have been obviously he was far too busy to answer anything, so it would have been handy for him to have somebody there as a go-to, just someone because obviously lots of the vendors had questions and
that's what he'll
doing.
learn. That's what he'll learn for next year, though, isn't it? It's
But other than that, stellar job,
venture.
a great turnout from all the volunteers were brilliant. It was overall a really smooth running event. It was really good. Highly recommend it.
Cool. Roll on next year.
Yeah, fingers crossed for it.
Well done, Comic-Con Isle of Wight. You did a very good job. Right, shall we wrap this one up?
Yeah. Go on then.
Ross?
Yeah, goodbye.
Where can we find you, mate?
On my PlayStation. Links in the bio.
Ross's handle is rosscobaby. What you play? You're still playing this blooming...
Fortnite.
Is this the Battle Royale one, or is this something
Yes,
else?
Battle Royale.
Cool.
It's fucking brilliant.
And nothing much else to say. Right, Adam.
Usual places, Adam Gatcher Arts on Facebook and YouTube. Some Christmassy, December-y gigs of big proportions coming. The December Cow Speak has the last show of someone's particular comedy music tour. So you should come and see him. I will give more information soon. And I'm doing a show with the Reading Between the Lines Collective in December, which is already being advertised under Reading Between the Lines and Adam Gatcher Arts on Facebook.
Cool. Paul.
Rocket Punch Collectables and Curiosity. You can find us both on Facebook, and the links are below.
Cool. And me, yeah.
Where are you?
You can find me hanging out on the SNEW with the Crew Facebook page. So if you've got any questions or anything for us, give us a shout. Let us know. Drop us a line to podcast@snewnetwork.com. Give us some ideas for topics and things like that. That'd be grand. Oh yeah, honourable mention for Libsyn and Sticher, who were responsible for starting the original San Diego Comic-Con in 1970. They're not, but they are. Anyway.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We have to mention them. Right. You've been a listener. We've been SNEW with the crew. Thanks very much. Say goodbye, guys.
Silaz.
Take it easy.
Goodbye.